Stick around to learn how to maintain and store finished compost. Let's go back to organics.
Hi guys, today I'm going to turn my finished compost. I do this just to make sure that it's continuing to break down and that it continues to stay nice and moist and just doesn't completely dry out and kill all the bacteria and stuff that's inside of it. It's been about 2 weeks since I have actually turned these two buckets. The bucket that you're looking at right now is the older bucket. That compost is a little over 2 months old. You can tell that there's a lot of big chunks, like it's more granulated or bigger chunks in it. The top is actually still quite dry, but you can tell that as it breaks down more, it tends to clump together and form kind of that humus that everybody talks about in compost. So I'm going to dig in a little bit further and let you see just how wet it is once I get into it. Okay, so I can already tell that right down in here it's nice and moist. So here I'm not even an inch down and this is moist and spongy. And this has been inside of a hot truck for 2 weeks and I haven't added any water to it. And 1 inch down it still holds water after a week. So this shows just how much finished compost can hold water and helps the soil hold moisture. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to dump this bucket out into my mixing tote and I'm going to mix it up, possibly add some more water to it if it needs it, but I will just dump it out and mix it up and take you along for the ride. So here we go. Alright, so remember that's 2 weeks and it's probably been close to a month since I've added moisture to this. You can already see, I don't know if you can tell on camera, but this is the bottom. This is probably the most moist area of the whole thing, but it is very moist, nice and wet down in here. And again, from the surface, it was already nice and moist. So I'm just showing you how I break it up. You can tell how it's all clumped together, sticking together, but it breaks up easily into these fine chunks. It smells actually very, very good. Got a couple of these big sticks that are just pieces of leaf stem. But yeah, it smells really good, very earthy. Still holding a lot of moisture. I'm just going to kind of mix this up a little bit more and just kind of checking on it a little bit today and making sure that it's not too dry and or anything like that. And I'm making sure it's not going anaerobic. So give me a couple of minutes and I will mix this all together. Alright, so here it is. I mixed it up and I put it back in its original bucket, and now I'm going to spin and mix up the newer compost. This stuff is probably about 2 weeks old. I'm going to move this bucket back. As you can tell, it's a lot more finer. It's not clumping together as much. It's got some grass clippings in there and various other things that just kind of made it through the screen when I screened this one out. Let me show you. If I dig down on this one, let's see if it's moist deeper in. This one looks actually a little moldy deeper in, which is not a bad thing. You can tell the dirt is actually slightly white, which is probably a mold or some sort of fungus that's breaking it down. So this one seems quite a bit drier. I did not add much moisture to this at all when I screened it, so this one probably needs moisture. As you can tell how easily it's flaking off and just falling through my hands. So, alright, well, I'm going to dump it in this bucket. I'll add some moisture to it and then I'll mix it all up. Let's look at how it's doing down towards the bottom here. The bottom looks nice and moist, but not a lot. See, there we go. If you look up in here, it's pretty dry almost anywhere else except for the very, very bottom. So that tells me, and it still breaks apart nicely, but this one still smells good. Doesn't have as earthy of a smell as the other one. But this definitely needs some moisture. I mean, it looks more like sand on top of some nice moist clay right now. So, alright. I brought out a pitcher of water. I'm gonna just dump some water all over this. Alright, give me a minute, mix all this in and try to get it evenly distributed. And I'll show you what it's like when I get it back into its bucket. Alright, so here I am. I've mixed all the water. I ended up using the entire pitcher of water, but you can tell this is quite a bit more wet. It's actually sticking together now rather than crumbling apart like sand. So this is all nice and moist, which it needs because it's still trying to break down, so it needs that moisture to help it keep breaking down. But still got some various grass clippings and leaf stems and sort of other things that still haven't broken down in there. So anyway, I thought you'd want to know what the finished compost looks like and how I keep it updated. I keep them in these buckets just so that I can use them for compost tea. I'm going to be building a hydroponic setup here soon, and I'm going to be using compost tea in my hydroponics. So that's what I'm saving this compost for, and so that's why I keep mixing it and turning it and putting it back into these buckets. So, alright, stay tuned.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more organic gardening tips and how-tos.